Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Get ready for the time of your life at Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's newest destination for fun, featuring the world's biggest poolside tailgate party with 3 levels of action, 6 pools, and a 143-foot screen. The fun is always on deck with all the games all year long. Stadium Swim, located in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. Book the time of your life today at circalasvegas.com.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Well, how we doing, Boise State fans? Prater, it's 9:03, and I've already pissed off Utah State fans, so we're off and rolling on a Thursday edition of Bronco Nation News Live, having a little fun on Twitter this morning, but excited to talk a lot of football today. Bush Hamdan, big news as he heads to Kentucky. You were pretty open about this on Monday, Mike Prater, when it was a possibility. Now that he has officially signed the dotted line with Kentucky, you graciously offered to come back on today, a second rare Mike Prater appearance of the week, back on your regular day of Thursdays as in the past. And we appreciate you for waking up a little early, and JP helping us out again. But we thought big news in the Boise State football world, and we wanted to get your thoughts and get the thoughts of the viewers and the listeners this morning as Bush Hamdan officially signs with Kentucky. The Broncos officially looking for an offensive coordinator. So we're going to talk Bush Hamdan, what they do with this spot moving forward, what Mike Prater wants to see in the qualities of the next offensive coordinator, and then we'll talk a little bit of hoops at the end as well after some games last night, and now kind of setting the stage for another big weekend Mountain West basketball. Obviously, Boise State will play Fresno State on Saturday, but Mike, appreciate you jumping back on a Thursday. How we doing?
Hey, no problem. It's a big story. We love big stories around here, so let's get after it. I can't believe we're sitting here in the middle of February. It's officially the 15th of February. We're actually in the second half of February. It's a leap year February, so we're starting the second half of February, and we're talking about a Boise State football coaching change, 20 days before the start of spring camp. It's a crazy world in college football, and it just keeps getting crazier. Every day it seems like there's a new chapter, and the Bush Hamdan chapter certainly is a big thing here in Boise. So, yeah, I'm not going to be quite as emotional as I was on Monday. Pretty fired up and still a little PO'd that this is happening. But let's get after it and try to figure out what's going to happen next with this football team.
Couple things I want to mention real quick. This is a rowpaint.com Thursday. They're our title sponsor. We appreciate rowpaint.com. I'm sporting the hat today. Mike Prater has his hat there as well. In all fairness, when we got on the live stream, Mike Prater had his Row Paint hat on, but he didn't want to, it must be some fashion statement to not have the same hat as me on. So he switched to the BNN hat. But we appreciate Andy Rowe and rowpaint.com. All your painting needs, commercial, industrial, residential, obviously the concrete coatings for your garage, your back patio, your basement. They can help you out. Check them out. ROEpaint.com. And Mike Prater, we are 24 hours away from giving away our private jet trip. This is your last chance to subscribe. BNN 50 deal is the promo code. We are giving away a trip to San Diego for the final game of the regular season. You get to ride on a private jet. You get to hang out with my wife and I and some other fun folks. It's going to be a fun couple of days. So if you want in, it's your last chance. I would hope that Mike Prater's columns, and he's working on one for the next couple of days here, my articles, our daily email, I would hope that you get enough value in your subscription for $50 as is, but if not, we're throwing in a couple giveaways and things. We got some camping chairs to give away tomorrow as well. We have some gift cards to the James, thanks to Barry Werner. We've got Taco Bell gift cards, thanks to SON Management. A lot of things to give away on tomorrow's show, but our grand prize is tomorrow. So make sure you do not miss tomorrow's show, 9 a.m. Jay Tust and I, we are giving away the trip for one lucky yearly subscriber. So you're automatically entered. Folks have asked. You don't have to do anything. You're automatically entered. We will, at like 8:55, pull the final list tomorrow of our yearly subscribers. And so if you want in, subscribe, $50 for a full year using the promo code BNN50 deal. And again, you get all of our exclusive content for a full year, but you also have access to our grand prize drawing, which is coming up. And then I also wanted to throw in there, Mike Prater, save the date, May 31st for the golf tournament. We're looking forward to this, year 3 already, believe it or not. We'll get Mike Prater and John Mallory out there again for KTIK. And Mike, I can't spill the beans on this just quite yet, but I guess I'll just say that we've always had the basketball coaches involved in this, but the football coaches have never really been, at least from the top down, very receptive in their scheduling and making this happen, and that might be changing this year. So there's a chance that we may have some new special guests attend this year that have not been in the past, and so you may get some new guests on your show, one of which may already be coming on your show today. So I think fans are really going to be excited about this year's event. We're even talking about doing, Mike Prater, a little happy hour event the night before, maybe to kind of set the stage and kind of do the speeches and a little happy hour with some of the celebrities and guests and kind of make sure that happens so that the time in between the morning and afternoon sessions goes a little quicker on the golf day, and we can kind of focus on the golf and lunch and not necessarily the raffle and all the other stuff that goes on at a golf tournament. We may try to knock that out the night before and turn this into kind of a 2-day event. So looking forward to that. More details to come. There will be the option for the morning session and the afternoon session, and we are giving first dibs, Mike Prater, to anyone that had a foursome last year. You get first dibs because we are expecting. We went 30 foursomes in the first year, up to 50 foursomes in the second year. We got to cap it at 64 this year to have a full morning and afternoon field, and I'm pretty confident this is going to sell out. So if you were in it last year and you want back in, you can go ahead and email me, and we'll reserve you your spot. And then we'll open this up to the general public here about when basketball season ends. But looking forward to this one, Mike Prater. Anytime you can talk golf on February 15th, that's not a bad sign.
Oh, that's a perfect sign. And you got me all warm and fuzzy talking about golf. Today's a big golf day. Tiger Woods is on the golf course. I think he tees off here in about 90 minutes in L.A. So I'll be checking out a little Tiger Woods, and I'll be giving my best Tiger Woods impersonation on May 31st. I saw your tweet yesterday on that. I immediately went to my calendar and put it in my calendar. So we're good to go. I'm assuming I'm going to be invited back, and I'd like to have my same team back this year. I'm not sure about the 7 bricks of Fireball that they brought last time, but if you could get me hooked up with the same teammates, I'd be pretty fired up about that, BJ.
We'll see what we can do. And I did think it was smart of the PGA Tour for Tiger's first tournament back. They put him with a Jayhawk, Gary Woodland. So I thought that was, I thought that was smart to get him some high quality, guys in his group there. I think he's with Justin Thomas also in that foursome. So looking forward to, I agree with you, watching some golf as well. So yeah, May 31st, looking forward to that. Going to be a lot of fun. And as I mentioned, some special guests going to be out there. It's already so, last year we had about 10 players out there, Mike Prater, some football players for the first time on NIL deals where it's pretty cool. We didn't have to pay them any cash, but you just pay for them to play in the tournament essentially and give them a free round of golf and a lunch. And that's now, and you can use their name to say that they're coming. And when I put that out there, I already had 2 players send me DMs, say, how do I get in on this? I want in on this. So it's going to be the event of the summer, I think, May 31st. It's the Friday after Memorial Day, and more details to come on that moving forward. But hoping again, KTIK, you guys will do your show out there and get some guests and have some fun. And looking forward to that. And I believe last year we finally got Johnny to at least wear actual shoes and not flip-flops out there for the course. So we'll see if we can make that 2 years in a row for maybe even some golf shoes this year. I don't know, Johnny. I think maybe we can get Johnny some actual golf shoes this year.
Let's get him a visor and a polo and some golf shoes and take some pictures of that. I would love to see Johnny in a visor and some golf spikes. That'd be pretty funny to see.
All right, down to the topic of the day. It happened yesterday afternoon, and as you know, Mike Prater, there's never happens when you want to in this business. I was waiting 3 days for this news to become official, and literally during the 45 minutes that I was volunteering at my son's Valentine's Day party, the news becomes official that Bush Hamdan is off to Kentucky, and he's gone, and Boise State now has to find a new offensive coordinator. I did talk to Malachi Nelson's dad, Eric Nelson. I'll throw out there, I guess, right out of the way. You can read that full quote in the story, but I called him up, and they're pretty private. You know, I talked to him before when he committed, and they don't really like doing interviews, and he really didn't want to be quoted. But I called him and said, hey, like, a lot of people are freaking out, and we should preface this, Mike, that after spring ball, things can certainly change. Wait and see who the new offensive coordinator is. But I can say, based on my quote and based on my lengthy off-the-record conversation with him, that is the furthest thing they're thinking about. They really like being in Boise. He was asking me, who I'm hearing some names. He was talking about some names, but it didn't sound like this is something where, if they don't bring the right guy in here, we're bolting. It sounds like he really believes he can make a difference and be that first quarterback to take Boise State to the college football playoff. And the family is very driven on that part of it. And, he said we certainly would have liked to have done it with Bush, but hey, things happen. Good luck to Bush. No hard feelings. For that kind of money, he's got to do what he's got to do. And they have to do what they kind of have to do. And that I would be stunned at this point if Malachi Nelson leaves in April when the transfer portal opens again. Based on what I heard from his dad and based on his quotes on and off the record, I think they really like Boise. They love Spencer Danielson. They love the direction of the program, and I think they're also confident that Boise State's going to bring in a high-quality guy. So I'll get that out of the way at the top. You can read the article, BroncoNationNews.com, but I would not worry about Malachi Nelson leaving. Other players, we can talk about that later, Mike, but I guess the bigger picture, Bush Hamdan officially gone, and now the search underway for Boise State's 6th offensive coordinator since 2019.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And just one more thing on Malachi Nelson and his family. I 100% believe in you and agree with you and respect what the Nelson family is saying right now. But, things, and you know this as well as anybody, things can change in April. So as they sit here right now, I 100% believe that. But you know what? If you get deep into the late March, early April, when they're going to have these spring camp, and you take that break, and all of a sudden, what if you don't get along with your new coach? They're going to bring in a high-quality coach, and I know we're going to talk about that, and we'll talk about that with Spencer Danielson on our show later on today as well, in terms of the criteria and the boxes that he's looking for. I have no doubt they're going to bring in a great offensive coordinator, play caller, quarterback developer, but what if there's just that one little personal thing that just really drives you crazy? Boise State, and even Spencer Danielson alluded to this in his signing day press conference, Boise State will lose players in April to the transfer portal. The transfer portal doesn't open until April. You can't go into it when an assistant coach leaves like a head coach, so it's locked up and closed for Boise State. I think they're going to go through spring ball, put on their happy face, and 95, 96, 97% of this roster is going to be just fine coming out of spring ball. But it's not a matter of when, it's a matter of who. And they're going to lose 2, 3, 4, 5 players across the board in April. That's just the nature of college football anymore, and change always predicates that. So we'll keep an eye on that. I believe it. I believe in you. I trust you right now. I believe the Nelson family right now and saying all the right things and doing all the right things. And they've been doing that since day one. So I think that's really cool. But let's wait and see what happens, April 14th, or I think the spring game is the 13th or whatever it is. The Sunday after the spring game will certainly be a big day. As reporters in this town, you and I should probably block that date out. Let's not plan any honeydews. You can't do any volunteering. I can't take the girl on a Valentine's Day date like I did last night and miss some basketball games. So that's a big day. We'll see how it shakes out. Somebody's going to leave. Let's hope it's not those high pro, and even the 2 wide receivers, the Marshall kid and everybody else. So I need to see some stability with this football team, and the next couple of months or the next few weeks are certainly going to be strange around here.
All right, so you said you're not going to be quite as fired up, not quite as angry today. You've had a couple of days to know this was likely coming, but now that you have slept on it for a couple of days, what are your thoughts again? Bush Hamdan leaving this offense, the potential for this year, and going to take the large pay raise there at Kentucky.
Yeah, it still bugs me. It really still bugs me, and the timing still bugs me, and Bush Hamdan's resume still bugs me a little bit, and the fact that he's doing this still bugs me a little bit. But I get it. I really truly get it right now, and those kinds of decisions are so personal, and it's beyond more than just the money. I've been saying this every day on Idaho Sports Talk this week. I doubled down on it yesterday. It's not just about the money. Bush Hamdan is not leaving to go get whatever it is, a 3-year deal for $4 to $5 million, somewhere in that neighborhood. I know he's talking to the Kentucky media today. I don't know if they're going to release information on his the details on his contract. They released the 3-year package yesterday, and maybe with him doing Kentucky media today, some more details will come out on how much money he's going to be making. But yeah, it's going to be great money. It's going to be huge money. It's going to be he's got 3 kids. It's going to be generational changing type of money, and I think that's something that's very, very important. But just something about this whole process that drives me crazy that he couldn't figure out a way to have a fit. And was that Bush Hamdan being Bush Hamdan? Was that somebody else on the other side? Bush Hamdan and Spencer Danielson get along great. Those guys are tighter than tight, and I don't think it had anything to do with that. But sometimes when you go to work, you're not happy. Sometimes things a little bug you. Bush is an emotional guy. He's a career job chaser. And those two things are probably connected. And I think that came into play here. And here he is off to Kentucky. And Spencer Danielson's looking for an offensive coordinator 20 days before spring camp.
12th stop. You mentioned him being a career mover. 12 different stops now. A couple of them he went back and forth, like to Washington and stuff. But 12 different stops now since 2009.
Yes, and that's frankly that gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like that, and that's not good. It's at some point you've got to stop and hunker down. And I thought maybe this was the place for him to stop and hunker down for 2 or 3 years. And he got a 3-year contract in Kentucky, and certainly in Vegas, you're going to roll the dice and say, "I'll take the under on that sucker." He's not going to get that full 3-year deal, but you know what? It's let me put it this way. Let's debate the things that we know. When we had a chance to talk to Bush Hamdan earlier in the season, I can't remember exactly when we talked about this. Bush, do you have the desire to be a head football coach? And is that something you're chasing? And do you feel like you're ready? And he said, yes. I want to chase at being a head football coach, and I feel like I'm ready. Was he a little butthurt that he didn't get an interview? I don't even think he got an interview. I haven't confirmed that yet, but certainly there was no clarification. Maybe I don't even think Bush Hamdan got an interview. Now, is that one of those deals where he should have reached out to them or they should have reached out to him? I don't know. So if he didn't even get an interview, that may make you a little bit fired up. Boise State has a great coaching tree and has done a fantastic job with his coaching tree over the last 20, 30 years. But think about this, guys. No assistant from Boise State has ever gone on to become a head coach at an upper level Power 5 type of a program. You have to be the head coach here. In the SEC coordinators all the time get head coaching jobs. So maybe in Bush's mind, it moves him one step closer to becoming a head coach. He's not going to get that opportunity out of Boise State. He's definitely going to get that opportunity out of Kentucky if he's successful there. That's the big if, because we all know that Kentucky's not this great program. But you know what? 8 or 9 wins in Kentucky, you're going to get double your raise. 8 or 9 wins in Boise, you might get fired.
Don't forget, too, as Sky Ship points out, maybe we should have seen this coming 3 weeks after he took the job at Boise State last year. Reports came out that he interviewed with the Kansas City Chiefs for a quarterback job.
Yeah, and that's true. But I've seen that on social media, and they called him, and they had a 5-minute Zoom conversation. And there were some Andy Reid connections, if you can kind of put some of the connections together. And they called him. The unfortunate part of that is it became public. Bush Hamdan was not job hopping when that Kansas City opportunity came. The timing was bad. The fact that it got out into the media was bad. But, Bush explained this to us, 2 or 3 months ago. It was a 5-10 minute Zoom call out of the blue, kind of a get to know you conversation. Bush never left Boise for that. It's not like he flew to Kansas City for an interview. It's not like his agent called up and said, I need to be in Kansas City and interview for this job. I think it was a connection, networking. Bush's name was out there and it's hot. He took the interview. He had a conversation that became public. I'm going to beat up Bush Hamdan a lot for being a job hopper. I don't think I would include that part in there. I think that was just weird timing.
And you're saying betting man probably for 3 years at Kentucky. We're not expecting that.
No. I mean, he's been in one place for 3 years once. I think it was Missouri.
Missouri was 3 years. Yep.
Yeah, and was it even a full 3 years? Was it a 2.5? Maybe it was a full 3 football seasons in his 15 to 20-year coaching career. Bush Hamdan has stayed at one place 3 years, one time. And no, I'm definitely taking the under. I don't see Bush Hamdan. And maybe that's a good thing. And I love Bush. We all love Bush. Bush is a good dude. We've all known Bush for a long time, and he conducts himself pretty well and carries himself pretty well. But Maybe he goes to Kentucky and gets himself a head coaching job after a couple of years. I have no idea what kind of talent they have. I have no idea what their roster looks like. I think that I've read that they brought in a rock star young quarterback to be the next wave of what they want to do. And Stoops is known for doing a good job, but he's still always, one or two games above 500 and will never compete for championships, especially in the new and improved SEC. So Kentucky's a whole different animal. And if Bush Hamdan can get a head coaching job out of Kentucky, more power to him.
All right, let's take a quick 90-second break, Mike Prater, and then I want to spin this forward. Enough talk about Bush leaving. Let's talk about what we want to see in the next offensive coordinator, who are realistic candidates. I know the Al Borgeses of the world keep getting thrown out there on social media, the Brian Harshins. Let's kind of break away from who's unrealistic and who we actually think they could hire and what we want to see in that next offensive coordinator. We'll do that next here in 90 seconds on Bronco Nation News. All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of premix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com. Back here live on a rowpaint.com Thursday. We appreciate Mike Prater for jumping on for an extra appearance this week to talk about Bush Hamdan. We'll keep Mike about 10 minutes or so, and then I'll talk some basketball here, and we'll let him get ready for their show today. But we'll keep the football discussion going, and I think a lot of names are popping up. And kind of, you mentioned the timing of this, 3 weeks from the start of spring ball. To me, that probably means you're bringing somebody in with similar terminology, a similar offense. I don't think you're bringing in someone that's going to reinvent the wheel here 3 weeks before spring ball. Could be wrong. I mean, they want to get the best candidate regardless of what that is. But just your take, I guess, on what they do from here and, just the qualities that you want to see Mike Prater in the next offensive coordinator.
Yeah, they are in a little bit of a pickle, and I'm glad you brought that up because it really is. I mean, do you bring somebody in with their old playbook, or do you limit the field and maybe try to, at the risk of not getting the best guy because, quote unquote, he fits what you have? And it's not like Spencer Danielson has an offensive system. It's not like there's a lot of coaches on this offensive staff that have offensive systems. I know Matt Miller was an OC at one point, but I'm not sure I want to go there. So it's really, really difficult right now. And I don't think Spencer Danielson will be afraid of change. That's going to be one of my first questions today is how afraid of, not afraid, afraid's not the right word. How much is change a part of this equation in terms of if you found the rock star guy, and Spencer Danielson, the biggest thing he's going to talk about is the fit, the chemistry, the locker room. I need to have somebody that joins the Boise State family, the fit. That's what he's always talking about. So he's already limiting himself there. And now do you limit yourself to somebody who has the fit and the playbook, or do you want to change things up at the risk of throwing a wrench at some of these, kids? If you bring a kid in to revamp this offense because you found the right fit and the perfect guy, that's going to probably rattle the feathers of some of these kids. And we'll go back to that April conversation about the transfer portal. So you got to be careful there. I think he's going to have to find the delicate balance of the right fit. I almost think he should just limit one of the options on the table should be just rent a coach for 9 months. Everybody is saying, not a lot of people are saying, we should bring somebody in who's going to be stable and stay here for a long time. Why? That's not college football anymore. I'm more than happy to rent a coach for 10 months to get through this system, to get Malachi Nelson and some of these new offensive weapons that Boise State has, just to get him through the season. The most successful Boise State coordinator of the last 5 years was a rent coach, Dirk Cutter. I think that worked out pretty good. No, Dirk Cutter is not coming back, but I wouldn't be surprised if Spencer Danielson rents a coach for 9 months and then worries about the bigger picture later, because there's a lot of different boxes to check.
And you guys are going to have Spencer Danielson. What time is that today?
4:00 on Idaho Sports Talk. Appreciate Boise State for putting that together. And we're not going to dive into the details of who he's chasing, but I want the criteria of what he wants, what kind of boxes is he checking, what kind of timeline. His statements yesterday indicated that he needs to get somebody in here fast. He said the word national search. They're going big. They're going broad. But again, the field's pretty limited. You're not going to you're not plucking Kirby Moore. By the way, Kirby Moore is making more money right now than Spencer Danielson. You're not going to get Kirby Moore to come to Boise. Stop putting his name on social media. That's ridiculous, and you look dumb when you do it. But there are other people out there, maybe the younger versions of the Kirby Moores or the lesser-known versions of the Kirby Moores. Maybe they have the lesser contract situations, but to uproot somebody. And even yesterday when I went on a little Cody Hawkins rant, he's got a contract at Idaho State. I think he'd be a fun fit for Spencer Danielson, and I love the way he conducts himself. I think he's a difference maker, and he throws the ball around an awful lot, and it makes it for a very entertaining football. So it's going to be tough to see what he comes up with. I can't wait to see this press release, BJ.
I haven't thought exactly how I wanted to phrase this, Mike, but I've thought about it for the last 24 hours. I do want to put something out there. The elephant in the room, obviously, is that Mike Sanford is a coworker at Bronco Nation News. I would consider Mike Sanford a friend of mine, friend of Johnny's. Working with him the last year, we have really gotten to know each other better. I stayed at his house when I went to the game out there. I mean, I would consider him a friend. And we talked for about an hour yesterday, and we agreed that during this search, I'm not going to ask him a single question about the search. I don't think that's fair to him. He doesn't want to lie to me, whatever. I would love it if Mike Sanford got the job. I think he is the kind of candidate that would come in seamless, keep the same terminology, keep the same thing rolling. Don't have to worry about him leaving another job right now. I think it's one of the few jobs that he would take, and I think that he is, in the right circumstances, interested in this job. But I'm just going to kind of leave it there. And so folks that were wanting me to give the daily updates on Mike Sanford as a candidate, I don't think that's fair to Mike. I don't think that's fair to me to kind of just let that get in the way. If it gets to that point, I hope I'll be the one to break it, and I think I probably will. But I just want to throw it out there. I think that I don't have any concrete I'll do a little bit. We talked for an hour yesterday, but I think that he's kind of in a tough spot as potentially being a candidate, Mike, because when he joined BNN, I 100% know that it had nothing to do with him wanting to get back into coaching. He wanted to make broadcasting his next career and become a next Kirk Herbstreit type guy, and I think he is on his way to doing that if he wants to. And if they go in another direction for the spot, I'll be pumped. We already got plans for an 8-week spring BNN show with him and Johnny in the evenings again, and I think it'll be awesome. We're going to get him back out for the spring game and do some shows at the James. So, I mean, I'll be happy either way. But I think that this is just things happen in weird ways, and I think that he might be a candidate for this. But I just did want to throw out there that we'll see what happens, but he's agreed not to tell me anything about it. I've agreed not to ask, and we'll figure it out at the end if something happens. But I do think, in my personal opinion, again, friend and coworker, that's fine. I'll throw that out there. I'd be really intrigued by, he was the OC in 14 when they had that Fiesta Bowl run, and I think he'd be a guy also, Mike, that would not be looking to jump. I saw somebody in the chat say, he'll just use it to parlay for a year. I really do think he's tired of that, and I think if you look at some of the previous stops he's been, like at Colorado, he came in with a lame duck coach that got fired midway through his first season. You got a first-year coach in Spencer Danielson that's going to be here for a couple of years. I think Mike Sanford would be the kind of guy that would stay for a couple of years and reroute his family in Boise, but we'll see what happens, but I think they could do a lot worse, in my opinion, than if they did go in that direction.
On paper, without knowing exactly what Spencer Danielson wants, he's candidate number 1A for me, and it's not even close in terms of what would be the next kind of candidate that would be out there. So, I put out a poll on social media yesterday. I got a lot of votes. I got like 1,400, 1,500 votes, and 51% said Stanford. So he's clearly the choice, the obvious choice, the favorite choice, and it makes sense for a lot of different reasons. I'll go back to what you just said in terms of what you read on the internet. Who cares if he's going to leave? Again, stop worrying about that, guys. Stop worrying about stability. College football, there was no such thing as stability in college football anymore. And if Mike Sanford came in here for 10 months and got this football season on track and did the right things for this football season, Boise State's focus right now should be this football season and this football season only. They have a 2-year window to get into the CFP, and Jeremiah Dickey's made it clear that that's a priority with this football team. That's why you're seeing all this significant change, is because they're making that push for the CFP. I need a 10-month football coach, and if that's Mike Sanford, I think it'd be spectacular. I think he'd be a fit for Spencer. I think he checks a lot of boxes. The boxes have to start with a quarterback developer. That's the most important thing here. When I see some of these other names out there, come on, guys, it's got to be a quarterback developer. Somebody that can get in there 24/7 and grind with a quarterback and make him better. Boise State has 2 young quarterbacks, Malachi Nelson and Maddox Madsen, and they need a quarterback coach. The play calling, the offensive coordinator stuff, the scheme stuff, I'm not overly worried about that. I'm worried about the personal development, and Mike Sanford has a pretty good track record there. I'd like to see Mike Sanford get that job, but if Spencer Danielson goes in a different direction, I can't wait to see what that curiosity looks like.
All right, final thing for you, Mike, here. I'm going to throw a couple names at you, just quick, either percentage or one word, or if there's any, whether you want them or if there's any chance they actually get it. We can kind of get truth from fiction here with some of these names being thrown out there. We'll start at the list here. Where was the question at? There's 10 of them, but any shot? Is it 0 out of 100, or is there any shot at, you mentioned the 9 months and just taking it to be here for 9 months. Would Brian Harsin fit that bill?
He's on my list. I would make that phone call. Spencer Danielson and Brian Harsin are close, or at least they were close professionally. As far as I know, Brian Harsin hired Spencer Danielson. They worked together for a few years. I never saw any red flags whatsoever. Would Brian Harsin come in? And Brian Harsin's a great quarterback developer. He might be a better quarterback recruiter. I mean, look at Zach Wilson, Brock Purdy, Brett Rippon. Those are NFL guys, and maybe he's spotting obvious NFL talent and bringing him into Boise. But I also think he's a pretty good quarterback developer. Nobody thought Brett Rippon would be an NFL coach or an NFL quarterback, and he got him into the NFL with a series of offensive coordinators to help as well. But Brian Harsin for 10 months, yeah, he doesn't have to worry about being media savvy. I mean, he's got the edge to him. Is a little bit of he's not a very friendly guy. He's always kind of had this personal persona about him, but I don't care about that kind of stuff. He's not here to be a booster shaker, raise money. Yeah. Brian Harsin on the list, just to come in, get behind the scenes, kind of like Cutter. Don't do a lot of interviews, just grind behind the scenes for 10 months. I think Brian Harsin makes a lot of sense.
He doesn't have to move his family. He's still fairly close to his son there in Pocatello, and could get a little bit of money and maybe, kind of get his foot back in the door to see where he goes next. All right, we'll roll through these real quickly. Appreciate your time, Mike. Let's go Eric Keesaw.
Eric Keesaw, as far as I know, is out of the business right now.
He went down with Harsin at Auburn, was like an analyst or something, and I don't remember where he's at now or what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, he's a quarterback developer. He's got the reputation of being a really good quarterback guru. If he comes cheap, I think it'd be fine. I think he was a perfectly good guy. He's not going to get me overly excited, but Eric Keesaw, I would put him on the list and make that phone call. Absolutely.
He was the OC at Boise State for the last year. He was promoted from wide receivers coach, I believe, to OC the last year before they left for Auburn. Scott Frost.
Scott Frost, I don't see that as a great fit. I don't ever see anything that Scott Frost has done recently in college. It's a sexy name, and if you want to make that phone call, that's fine. But I don't see that as a good fit for this football program.
Lee Marks.
Doesn't develop quarterbacks. Get rid of him fast. I love Lee, but he's never developed a quarterback. Ridiculous idea. Get rid of him.
Matt Miller.
Never developed quarterbacks. Love Matt Miller. And also look at the things that we do know. Matt Miller, ever since he came to Boise State, has been one of the lowest paid coaches, and everybody's getting these big raises. Yep. Matt Miller barely makes more money on this coaching staff with the new round of contracts than Jabril Frazier, a young kid edge coach. And Matt Miller makes barely more than him. He's like the 9th payest coach on this staff. He's never developed quarterbacks. So somebody on the official side is saying, Matt Miller, you're worth this. I can look at his resume and say, you're not worth developing quarterbacks. We all love Matt Miller, one of the greatest wide receivers. Stick to the wide receiver room. No, thank you at quarterback.
Anybody else on staff? Nate Potter, I think, got like the co-OC role, which surprised some people. Anybody else on staff currently that would okay.
No. I mean, I'd be very, very disappointed if they kept this thing on staff. Very disappointed.
And then a couple other quick names. Name that was out there, Mike Urich has been thrown out there. Old Penn State OC.
Yeah, and I think I looked at his resume yesterday when his name came up a couple of times. It depends on the fit with Spencer Danielson. I don't know much about this guy whatsoever. Maybe Stacey Collins got to know him a little bit, and maybe this dude's looking for work and he can come out here. But I don't know enough about him as a quarterback developer. And that's the most important part of this job. So I'd have to do a little bit more research on him, but very intriguing candidate for sure.
Ryan Dinwiddie?
I think that ship has sailed, guys. I mean, we've had a couple of off-the-record conversations with him over here at Idaho Sports Talk, and he loves Boise State, and I think he'd be pretty darn good. There just seems to be some kind of a gap, and I'm not quite sure I've been able to connect the dots, but I think that ship has sailed, guys.
Now, this has been an interesting one. It obviously impacts our boy Johnny Ballgame, but I've seen this name come up several times, Jason Eck.
Somebody brought up the offensive coordinator. Is it Luke Schleister, whatever his name is? And somebody brought that guy up, and I said, if I'm going to go after somebody at Idaho, I'd rather have Jason Eck. Jason Eck would be pretty good. I don't see him stepping down to go work as a coordinator.
What's he make at Idaho? Would he make more money as the OC here?
He would make more money as the OC here, yes. He would definitely make some more money as the OC, probably depending on what kind of contract they gave him, maybe even close to doubling it. But I don't see him. I don't see that. Although that would be a really fun hire.
Mark Helfrich, any chance of Mark Helfrich?
I threw his name out yesterday. Yeah. I mean, I think he's somewhat intriguing and not working. I mean, he hasn't worked for a couple of years, so that part kind of scares me. I know he's been doing the TV thing, and sometimes television makes you smarter when you come back into these gigs. And I would make that phone call. I'm very intrigued by Mark Helfrich.
So one of the 7 or 8 names we just mentioned, will that be the OC, or who else was on your list?
The only other person on my list,
Tim Plow's not coming back either. He just got a head coaching job. People are asking about Tim Plow. He just got his first head coaching gig back at his alma mater. He ain't leaving.
No, he's not leaving. Somebody brought up yesterday Danny Langsdorf, a former Boise State guy, West Coast guy, Oregon State guy. He's now the offensive coordinator at Temple. Maybe if he's intrigued by by returning back to the West Coast and coming back here. He's a career journeyman who's never really been great, but has always been kind of good. And one of his specialties would be a quarterback developer. Again, I was somewhat I didn't think about that name yesterday. Somebody brought that up on Idaho Sports Talk, and I was intrigued. I was intrigued enough to write it down.
Well, as much as nobody wanted to see Bush Hamdan leave, Mike Prater, it's kind of the Boise State football team's the gift that keeps on giving to sports talk radio and shows like this. 210 people right now wanting to talk football and getting in the chat and things here on a random Thursday in the middle of February. So I'm going to keep talking basketball. We'll let you go. I told you 30 minutes and we're at 38. So I appreciate your time. I know you guys are doing your count. You'll be all over this today, but you're doing your countdown as well. What else we got on Idaho Sports Talk?
Yeah, we're in the middle of a series, the 15th most important football players on the Boise State roster going into spring ball. We'll do it again with a new list after spring ball to kind of gauge some roster development. But we're going to dive into number 13 today on our series. So far, we've had Caden Dudley, and yesterday we had Ty Benefield. So looking forward to that series. And then Spencer Danielson, Idaho Sports Talk, live at 4 o'clock, talking about replacing Bush Hamdan.
And you'll have a column coming as well for BNN here in the next couple of days. Looking forward to that. Folks can subscribe to that. But, Mike, I'm going to keep this thing rolling, talk a little basketball. We'll take some more football comments on the coordinator search as well. But appreciate you for jumping on a Thursday. And we'll be listening 3 to 6 today and certainly at 4 o'clock for Spencer Danielson. That should be great.
Appreciate that, BJ. I'll file that column tonight, and we'll get that out there for people first thing in the morning. But, Boise State football, the gift that keeps on giving, baby.
Appreciate it. There he is, Mike Prater. Hey, thanks to all of our great sponsors. Again, don't go anywhere. We're going to keep talking basketball, keep talking football. We'll keep this thing rolling as long as you guys want. We'll see based on the viewership if Mike Prater is the only reason you were watching or not. But appreciate you guys for jumping on. Hey, Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out, lithiafordboise.com. And they got some great deals going on right now. You can view their full inventory of vehicles. And again, they have NIL deals with 5 different student athletes at Boise State. We had a viewer, listener of BNN, a subscriber posting last night that they purchased a vehicle from Lithia Ford of Boise. So we're very appreciative of our sponsors and folks that take advantage. And Chris V208 on Twitter posted his family purchasing a vehicle from Lithia Ford Boise. So thank you for that, Chris, and happy to have a happy customer at Lithia Ford Boise. Taco Bell, you need a job? They'll give you half your wages the very next day after your shift. Check them out, TacoBellWorks.com, and they're giving a lot of money to Boise State and for the student-athlete scholarships, and the SON Management Group and Nicolason family doing a ton for the local community, and the food is great as well. So if you need a job, go support a company and a family that's right here in the Treasure Valley doing great things. Taco Bell and TacoBellWorks.com. The Blue and Orange Store, we appreciate Travis Hawks and company. Check them out, theblueandorangestore.com, an entire store dedicated to Boise State gear. You walk in there and it's like heaven if you're a Boise State fan. Shirts, hats, sweatshirts, bumper stickers, car flags, logo golf balls, you name it. They got it all at the Blue and Orange Store. Check them out, theblueandorangestore.com. If you're not in the Boise area, free shipping, any order over $40. And if you are in the area, you can go right into the second floor there of the Boise Town Square Mall. And speaking of jobs, transcomservice.com is helping hundreds of people a day get into the trucking industry. And if maybe never thought about this profession, but if you're looking for a new job, you want the flexibility of being out on the open road, think about the trucking industry, and transcomservice.com can help you. All the paperwork, the DOT overweight permits, everything you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. 75% of the people that try to do it themselves end up going out of business. So if you're looking for a new job, think about the trucking industry and let the folks at transcomservice.com help you every step of the way. Okay, as I said, by the way, our RSVP for our pool party, we're over 85 now. 85 people confirmed. We're pushing 100. This is going to be an amazing day, an amazing time. Circa Resort and Casino Stadium Swim in Las Vegas, 4 weeks from tomorrow. 29 days. We will be there for the pool party. Johnny and Prater will be broadcasting live. I'll be out there. We're going to have prizes to give away. We're going to have some drinks and food for paying subscribers. We're going to have all kinds of great stuff. We're taking over an entire pool. They have 6 pools there up on the third deck. They're giving BNN our private pool, and we're going to have some cabanas. There's going to be games on the TV, music. It's just going to be an unbelievable day. Maybe one of the coolest days we've had at BNN. I cannot wait. Looking forward to it. And again, if you want free entry, send us an RSVP, Rains@BroncoNationNews.com. Rains@BroncoNationNews.com gets you free entry into Stadium Swim. Otherwise, it's like a $50 cover charge. So make plans to join us 4 weeks from tomorrow, Friday, March 15th. And it's going to be an awesome day. The semifinals don't start till 6 p.m. that night. So what are you going to do all day on Friday in Vegas? You're going to come hang out at the pool and have some food and drinks and meet other Boise State fans and have a lot of fun. So tell your friends, spread the word. There's never a better time to check out Stadium Swim at Circa Resort and Casino on Fremont Street. And if you're looking for a hotel still, I got a 15% off coupon or link, I guess, for Circa or the D, which you can see in the background there. That's their sister property. They own both of them there. So if you're looking to stay on Fremont Street, highly recommend Circa or the D. I got 15% off link I can send you. Rains@BroncoNationNews.com. Rains@BroncoNationNews.com for the link and for the RSVP to the pool party. And as I mentioned earlier, 24 hours tomorrow, this time, we'll be giving away the trip to San Diego. So if you want to go, today is your last day. $50 is all it costs for a full year subscription to Bronco Nation News, BNN. We got daily coverage. You get Prater's column that's coming tonight. You get all my stories, a daily email, all kinds of great coverage, and you help us continue to grow here at Bronco Nation News. And if you help us out with a $50 yearly subscription, the promo code is BNN50deal. When you go sign up for a yearly subscription, it takes $20 off your first year. And tomorrow, we're giving one lucky yearly subscriber a chance at a trip for two to head to San Diego for the final game of the regular season. So we are so excited about that, and we can't wait. It's going to be awesome. So happy that we're giving away this trip tomorrow. And we went to Las Vegas last year, had an awesome time. It was just a really, really cool really cool thing that we did. And I was trying to find the video here real quick of last year's, and I can't do it on the fly like this, but went to Vegas last year. It was awesome. And looking forward to going to San Diego for the final game of the season. And again, we're giving that away tomorrow. So last chance to sign up, and there could be a lot on the line in that game, because you look at the Mountain West standings and things are starting to tighten up just a little bit, as I'll put the standings on the screen here shortly. But Boise State, 7-4 right now, would be the number 5 seed in the conference tournament, if you look at the standings and where it shakes out, you have UNLV right now as the number 4 seed in this conference tournament. If it were to start today, obviously a lot still to go, but Utah State really was in a battle for much of the game with Wyoming last night, but Utah State able to pull it out and get the win, and they stay 1 game up on everybody in first place in the Mountain West standings. You also had UNLV hang on for a 2-point win in Fresno last night as well. So the standings starting to shake out a little bit, and Boise State needs to take advantage of this lull in the schedule. We've talked about it, but you have some more big games coming up for other teams in the league this weekend, and Boise State's playing their next 2 games against the 2 of the bottom teams in the conference. So these are 2 games that Boise State theoretically should be able to win while the other teams are kind of beating up on them. And I think this is certainly an opportunity for Boise State to continue to make some hay in the standings here. We will continue to take your comments on this, your thoughts. We're going to share my screen here and get the standings up on the screen. There we go. Sorry about the delay on that, folks. But Utah State 9-3. You got New Mexico, San Diego State at 8-4, and then UNLV and Boise State at 7-4. UNLV has the tiebreaker by beating Boise State, but in the 4-5 game doesn't really matter. They play each other anyway. But again, the conference tournament is 4 weeks from yesterday. 4 weeks from today, we'll be in the quarterfinal round with 4 games going on down there in Las Vegas. Hard to believe it's that close. And so you look at some of how they're shaking out right now. Utah State on Saturday has to go to Colorado State. So you need to be massive Colorado State fans on Saturday night if you're a Boise State fan, because Utah State does not have a lot of losable games left. They play at Colorado State on Saturday, and then they host San Diego State on Tuesday. And then the final 3 or 4 games are all winnable, I believe, for Utah State. They do have New Mexico in the final game of the season, but that is at Utah State. So the only tough road game left for Utah State is at Colorado State on Saturday. Need to be rooting for Colorado State if you're a Boise State fan and you want to see Boise State win the conference title. Boise State, their next 4 games, all against teams near the bottom of the standings in the league. And we talked about this, but that Wyoming game certainly is, going to be one that we'll talk about next week, but kind of a tricky game there because of what's going on. You saw Wyoming, give Utah State all they wanted. They were up 10 on Utah State in that game at one point. We've already seen Colorado State and Nevada go lose in Laramie. So that's not going to be an easy game next week, but you got to take advantage of these next 2 home games, take care of business, and certainly, take advantage of the schedule here. We could look up next week and Boise State could be back in first place because they're playing the bottom teams in the conference. And these games are almost scarier because you can't afford to lose them. You're not getting credit for a quad 1 loss. They're quad 3 and quad 4 games coming up. These are games you have to win. And frankly, for the metrics, you'd like to win rather easily. So you saw Fresno State. They're coming in town on Saturday. Jay Tuss and I tomorrow will really start to dive into that one. They only had 6 scholarship players available for most of that game against UNLV. They had a couple injuries and some guys out, and so they're kind of wounded, but they hung in there and almost beat UNLV. So we'll see what kind of Fresno State team comes in to Boise on Saturday. That's a 5:30 game, I believe, so you'd hope to get a big crowd on a Saturday. I understand Fresno State doesn't have the appeal of some of the other teams in the league, but this is a very important game. And Tuesday, I'm a little worried about Tuesday. I think it's an either 8 or 8:30 start. It's a later game against San Jose State, one of the bottom teams in the league. You wonder what the crowd's going to look like on that night. But these 2 games are just as important as any other game left on the schedule for Boise State. And you could argue they're more important because you can't afford to lose against a quad 4 opponent, or it would just kill your NCAA tournament resume. So 2 key games coming up for Boise State this week. And as I said, you win both those games, you let the carnage kind of take care of itself, because there's another big game tomorrow night. New Mexico is at San Diego State. So New Mexico, one of the teams right there that is at 8-4 in conference, tied with San Diego State. One of those teams is losing. One of those teams is dropping to 5 losses. So Boise State, before they play on Saturday, will be one of 3 teams with 4 losses there and tied for no worse than 4th place based on what's going to happen tomorrow night. But if you look at their remaining schedules, New Mexico has some really tough games coming up. San Diego State really doesn't. They have to go to Utah State still, which is going to be tough. But you almost wouldn't mind if New Mexico won that game. They've still got to go to Boise State, and they've still got to go to Utah State as well. And I think they play UNLV again. New Mexico has a pretty tough schedule down the stretch. I don't think it matters who wins that game, but I think probably San Diego State winning seems like the likely scenario just with them being at home, but I think you almost would rather have New Mexico win because I think that New Mexico still has more losable games left on their schedule than San Diego State. And we're all talking about net rankings and things like that. Like, don't forget, like, the goal here is to win the Mountain West. And if you win the Mountain West Conference, you will be in the NCAA tournament. I get it. The regular season champ does not receive an auto bid, but they're not taking the regular season champion from this league and not putting them in. So I think you put all your eggs in this basket and you root to try to finish at least in a tie for first place in this league, and you win a conference championship and you solidify your spot in the NCAA tournament field. And maybe I'll get into this more with Jay tomorrow, but the Utah State fans, I put something on Twitter about it. The 18-game unbalanced schedule. Utah State is one game up in this league, and they do not play at Nevada this year, and they do not host UNLV. Both of those are losable games. Now, I get it. Boise State doesn't go to UNLV. That's probably a losable game. San Diego State doesn't go to Wyoming. That is a losable game. So I get it works its way for everybody, but this conference title is going to be decided based on an unbalanced schedule, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I know there's reasons for it, but I think next year, I think the time has finally come. Everybody needs to play everybody twice in this league. No disrespect to the Northwest Nazarenes, the Western Oregons, the Colorado School of Mines. We don't need to see these NAIA Division III, Carroll College type schools. I love you, Ryan Lundgren, but I think that you need to take away the non-Division ones, which don't hurt or help you anyway. Boise State's record on their NCAA resume sheet is going to have 2 less wins than they actually have. They're 14-7 right now on their team sheet, not 16-7, because those non-Division I games do not count. So I would like to see them get rid of the non-Division I games, or the worst Division I team if you only play one non-Division I, and add the 2 conference games back in. I get it. Would Utah State be able to go to Reno and win? Maybe, but we don't know that. And the fact that they're the only team in this top 6 that does not have to play a road game at the other top 6, I think is 100% a factor and is going to help decide this league race. Now, is that unfair to say that Utah State only won the title because of that? Like, yeah, probably so. And I'm not saying that because I just said Boise State doesn't have to go to UNLV. San Diego State doesn't have to go to Wyoming. Everybody has games they're avoiding, and I understand it. I just wish there was a fair way to decide the champion, which there is. You add 2 more conference games. Everybody plays a home and road against everybody, and it's pretty easy. Now, I get it. That guarantees more losses for some teams in your league. That might hurt the net rankings. I get it. I understand it. But overall, you're trying to decide a league champion, and all you have to do is add 2 more games to fairly figure out who it should be. In my opinion, I think that needs to happen. I think we're past that. Justin does a great job covering Colorado State. He says San Diego State's historically been opposed to it. I get that. I agree. They have been because they know they can get better games to come in. They wanted 16. They wanted to go the other way, I believe, but because they're a national brand that can recruit and bring other teams in. But I think that it's time to have a fair way to decide the champion here. And this is not sour grapes because Boise State's, maybe not going to win the league and Utah State is. I just think that if you have an easy way to have everybody play everybody, that's the fair way to do it. I mean, I don't remember which team Colorado State only plays one time. But I just think that it just seems way too easy for everybody to play everybody and to figure it out. And I just, at this point, when you have Utah State only having to play, not having to go to Reno, that's probably a loss for them that they're not having to have on their schedule right now. Now, is Boise State saving a loss by not going to UNLV? Maybe so. They already lost to them in Boise. But my point is, you don't know. To say, oh, they would have won that anyway, or oh, they would have lost that, we don't know. But we would know if they played, which would be very easy to happen if you just had everybody play everybody twice. So and as Jordan points out, San Diego State never has to go to Laramie. They've only gone like 4 of the last 8 years or something to have to go to Laramie. They always get out of that. So I get it. And again, this is not a Utah State thing, but if you're a Utah State fan, I get it. You're going to defend your team, and I get it. I understand that, but is it 100% a legit factor to mention they don't have to go to Reno? And if they win the league by one game, you're going to have New Mexico, San Diego State, Colorado. A lot of fans. If you're a Nevada fan, you're like, "What? That's not fair. We only play you once, and they don't have to come to our place." Like, if Utah State wins this by one game, you're going to have a lot of fan bases in this league a little upset with it. And again, right or wrong, that's debatable. Would they have won? Would they not have won? The easy way is just have everybody play everybody, and I think there is some moving in that direction. Colorado State only has to play San Jose State once. Well, there you go. They would have got another win. San Jose or Colorado State should be upset. They only play San Jose State one time, while Utah State, saves himself potentially a loss by not having to play Nevada again. So it is what it is. I understand it, but I would like to see them go to 20 conference games. Grant asking about the golf tournament format. It's just a traditional scramble. Honestly, it's not really about the prizes or who wins. It's just getting some buddies together, having a good time, and supporting a local charity, the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. Also, there'll be some, players, coaches there. You just kind of mingle with some celebrities. It's just a good time on a fun day out at Timberstone. The buy-in, I believe, is going to be the same as last year. It's $150 a person, or it's $600 for a foursome. And again, that gives you a catered lunch. It gives you a lot of cool stuff, and there's a swag bag involved. And again, Idaho Youth Sports Commission makes about 98% of our profits on that. So we've got some costs to cover and things, but for the most part, we donate all the money to charity. We gave about $5,000 the first year, and then the second year we upped it to over $8,000 that we gave to charity. So hoping to make it $10,000 this year if we can to the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. So Grant, go ahead and get your four together and then email me, and I'll try to save you a spot. But as I said earlier, we are saving spots for those that played last year. If you want to play again, you can email me. We'll go ahead and reserve you a spot. We're going to put it on sale to the general public probably as soon as basketball season ends. We're having a morning and an afternoon session. It will start at 8:30 and 1:30. So if you'd rather work the morning, come play in the afternoon, 1:30 start. If you'd rather play in the morning and then go back to work, that's an 8:30 start. And we are working to have the same sponsors, same whole sponsorships, all that stuff for the morning and afternoon. So hopefully there will be no difference which group you play in. And again, email me if you're interested in getting a foursome together, especially if you played last year. And we'll officially put this on sale here in the next couple of weeks. But you got a couple big games in the Mountain West this weekend. Obviously, you have there you go. Wade's played a couple years since tournament's fun. Participate if able. Looking forward to it again in May, but we'll focus on that here in a couple of months. We got a lot of stuff to decide first and get done, and hoping to see a lot of you guys at Circa Resort and Casino. Again, that'll be on March 15th, semifinal Friday. KTIK, the ticket will be broadcasting out there. We'll be out there all day. And again, it's like a $50 cover charge to get into Circa, but if you email us, rains@bronconationnews.com, we'll get you in for free entry if you email us that day for semifinal Friday of the Mountain West Tournament, and looking forward to being at Stadium Swim at Circa Resort and Casino. And your last chance, 24-hour notice. We're giving away the trip tomorrow. Trip to San Diego for the final game of the regular season. BNN 50 deals, that promo code at the bottom of the screen. Get a 1-year subscription, support BNN, get all of our exclusive content, and you're entered for some cool prizes, including a private jet trip to the final game of the regular season. So subscribe today. It's your last chance. We're giving this away tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day we are giving it away, so you need to get in by about 8:30 tomorrow, and we'll pull the wheel and make our picks, our winners tomorrow on the show. So appreciate you guys for watching. We appreciate Mike Prater for jumping on as well. We're going to have Leon Rice interview today. I think some players, so we'll have some basketball interviews today. We'll get those up on the YouTube channel later today. And don't forget, Spencer Danielson is on Idaho Sports Talk at 4 o'clock today. Make sure you listen for that as well. Jay Tust and I tomorrow will break down the Mountain West, the big New Mexico and San Diego State game tomorrow night, Colorado State and Utah State. Again, you should be rooting for Colorado State in that one if you're a Boise State fan on Saturday. We'll get you set for Fresno State, Boise State on Saturday as well. And like I said, tomorrow's the day, giving away that private jet trip. So thanks, everybody, for jumping on. Appreciate you all. Great viewership today. I know most of that was due to the Bush Hamdan talk, but we'll be following that as well. What's Boise State doing with the offensive coordinator search? We're going to be following that by the minute and see if anything breaks. And you know that BroncoNationNews.com will be your first spot to check to see what's going on there as they search for a new offensive coordinator. So thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Subscribe to YouTube for that Leon Rice interview later, and subscribe to the site for your chance to win that private jet trip. And we'll give it away tomorrow, 9 a.m. Have a great rest of your day, folks. We'll talk to you soon. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com. Tomorrow is the day you want to go on a private jet to San Diego for the final game of the season. Subscribe today, and we're giving it away tomorrow to a lucky winner here on Bronco Nation News.